So hello guys, welcome to Git and GitHub for Dummies. So in this tutorial, so I want to take you through how to work using Git and GitHub. Yeah. So a lot of people are in tech but they don't know how to use Git and GitHub, which is really bad, because if you go to a corporate world and you don't know how to use this, then basically I don't think you're going to get a job. Yeah. So I decided to call this tutorial Git and GitHub for Dummies because I'm going to explain it using the simplest terms ever. Yeah. So the initial plan was to create a video and how to teach people how to work with Git as a team. Yeah. So in short, how to collaborate using Git. But then I'll just start with a slight introduction with what Git is and then head over to there. So for those who already know know how to use Git, how to clone a repository, how to create a repository, and basically things like that, then just head over, just use the timestamps below and head over to the side, to the place where I start talking about how now to collaborate using Git. Yeah. So welcome. So what is Git? So Git is like a memory card or an application called Google Photos in your phone. So what an application called Google Photos in your phone. So what this application does, and most of you already know about that, is that every time you take a new phone, you take a new photo, and automatically you're connected to the internet, it automatically says itself and confirm this. If maybe you have taken a photo for 3 different people, and then you had those images before, or maybe you didn't have those images before, automatically those images are placed differently. Yeah. So you'll get that even if that picture is one, it's going to be, yeah, the picture is going to remain one, but then you'll see if you go to a page for people, you'll see 4 different people. Yeah. So it's automatically backups your photos every time you just take a photo. So you don't have to go to Google Photos and upload your photo there. Automatically your phone does that. So that's the simplest explanation I can give it to you. Yeah. For more definition, you can say that Git is a version control system that tracks changes in files. Yeah. So maybe you are working on a code. So today you coded hello world, but then tomorrow now you decided that okay, you're already advanced, so you don't want to do hello world again. So using the same code that you had before for the hello world, so you update it, and then now maybe write a function that maybe iterates using a number, iterates in a certain array. So now after now you're done with that, so Git is the one that will update your code. So using Git now you can be able to now to update your code, and where it's stored now is called GitHub. So GitHub is a library where your memory card, so now the Git is stored, because remember, Git is just a version control system. So Git is not where now your memory lives, your code lives. Hope you get that difference there. So GitHub is a platform where you can upload, share, and collaborate on your project with others. And remember, it can be accessed from anywhere in the world. So as long as you have an account and you know your username and password, you can log in with GitHub from anywhere. So one advantage of using GitHub is that you can always get your code. So maybe like my PC here, so maybe I'm working on a code, I'm working on a project, or on a project like a library management system. So and then I code the first half of the project, and I don't push it to GitHub, and then one way or another my laptop gets stolen, or maybe my Windows crashes. So everything will have just gone like that. I won't have anywhere else. I won't have the code, so I'll have to start all over again. Remember, perfection takes time. So if me starting all over again it's going to be really bad, because remember, every project has a deadline. Yeah, so that's where now GitHub comes in. So every time you code, maybe you code half the project, you just push it to GitHub. So even if your PC crashes or maybe it's stolen by someone, so as long as you remember your username and password, and even if you forgot it, you can still reset it. You can still reset your password and get a new password. Yeah, so you can still get your code and you can still continue working when you get a new PC. So I think that's really advantageous. So I'm not going to explain a lot about this, so I'll just stop here. You'll see it during the practical. Yeah, so now let's head over to the practical part of it. So here, so I'm using Windows for this tutorial. I'm just going to use Windows. I'm not going to use Ubuntu's terminal. Yeah, so this is now my desktop. So let me just explain some few terms here that you'll hear me referring to. So every time you hear me saying directory, just know I'm talking about a folder. Yeah, so directory is a folder. Hope that's okay, because that is the word that I'm going to use frequently. So just give it a minute. So to show you that it's true, let me just do this. So if you see me ls just means list all files in your Windows directory here. So I want to go into desktop. So every time I want to go into a folder, I just use cd. So cd just means change directory. So I've told you directory is a folder, so change directory into, I want to go into desktop. So as you can see in my desktop, I only have a folder for view crash course, Git for dummies, and double linked list. So if we minimize this, as you can see, so you have a folder for Git for dummies. This is the folder. You have a folder for view crash course, and you have another folder for double linked list. So I hope that's okay. So let's say let me create a new folder so that you can see. So make directory, let me say git, let me just call it GitHub part 1. Okay, let me just call it GitHub part 1. So as you can see, it has been created. So the name is GitHub part 1. So as you can see here, it's here. So GitHub part 1. So I hope we're together up to there. I'm not going to talk a lot of the I'm not going to go into depth of the Linux commands, but maybe in the future I'll create a video on that. So let's change directory into that one. Sorry. So if you want to go out of a directory, you just cd, just like that. So I want to go into GitHub, but yeah, where is it? Let me just copy it. Yeah, so as you can see, it's empty. So now we want to create our repo. So there are two options of this. So the first option is you can create a repository using the command line. Yeah, so if you want to create a repository using the command line, for those who are nerds and like using the terminals, so you can just use gh is the keyword here. So create, and then just give, and then create, so repo, and then give the repo name. So the repo name here, so the repo is the repository. So I'm going to show you this in a minute. So let's give it, let us just call it this one. Let's just go call it GitHub part 1, and then specify if you want a public repo or a private repo. So basically, a private repo is a repo that any other person who comes to your profile, he won't see it. But then if you decide to create a public repo, any person who comes to your profile, to your GitHub profile, will see it there. So even if you have pushed your code, it's badly written, people will still see it. So you're the one who you're going to choose if you want a public repo or a private repo, and then specify that you want it to be public, just like that. So press enter, and so GH, so use GH. Okay, so what's up? Repo, sorry, it's repo, sorry, it's repo create, sorry about that. It's repo create, sorry. So as you can see, so we have created it. So it's GitHub, so this is GitHub repo create, not create repo create. So sorry about that one. So as you can see, it's created here. So after it has been created here, you have to clone that repository so that you can start working from it. So right now it's still on GitHub. So let us go to GitHub. You can just follow this link. If you just press that link, it's supposed to take you to GitHub. Don't ask me why it's not taking me to GitHub. Let me just copy it here, and let us just open it from here. So let's give it a minute. So as you can see, so GitHub part 1, so this is the repository that we have created. It's still empty. You have not pushed anything, so that's why you can't see anything here. So it's still empty. So before I continue, so for those who don't like using the terminal and prefer using the graphical user interface, come to github.com. so just go to your web browser and just type GitHub. So you are going to create an account. After creating an account, if you want to create a repo, just come and press this plus sign here. So if you press this sign here, you are going to say new repo. So just let it load. Yeah, so new repo. So you are going to come into this page here. So into this repo here, you are going to give the repository name here. So like in our case, we have given it GitHub part 1. So we can't create it again because it's already here. And even if you try to do it, you are going to get an error of saying it already exists. Let me just copy this one, and then so that you can confirm. So let's say Control V. If you give that name here, it's saying it will be created as GitHub part 1. But then we don't want that one. We want the other one without this one. So that one can't be created because it already exists. So remember, so create a repository plus the plus sign, create a repository, give your repository name. You can give a description if you want, it's only optional, and then specify if you want a public repo or a private repo. The one is also going to specify that one. Okay, don't initialize it with the readme, and then just press create repository. I've already created my repository, so I won't press that one. So I hope that's okay. Remember, create an account, this plus sign here, and then create a repository. As simple as that. So it's still, and then after that, or after creating the repository, you are going to get this page here. So this is the page you're still going to get after creating the repository. We are still together up to there. So now you will copy this link here, and then come into your terminal. Now you still have to use the terminal for this now, and then clone it. So I won't use this link here to show you that it's still the same thing. So let me just clear my screen. So I'll just say git clone, and then paste it there. Oh, sorry, I think I didn't copy all of it. Let me just take this one. So and then come here and then paste it there. So and then press enter. So as you can see, cloning into GitHub part 1. So just give it a minute. So it all depends with your internet connection. If your internet connection is slow, then it's going to take a lot of time. If it's fast, it's just going to take some seconds. So as you can see, it's saying cloning into GitHub, and then warning, you appear to have cloned an empty repository, which is okay because we know it's empty. So you have created your repository and you are done. So the next thing you're supposed to do is clone that repository so that you can remove it from where it is, from GitHub, now from the remote repository to your computer, so that you can work from there. And then after you're done, push it now to go to GitHub. I hope you're together up to there. So let me clear again this. So as you if you ls, see that there's only one thing here. So cd, let me just cd into this. So now if ls is still empty, as you can see, this is the folder we created. So this is the directory we created in our desktop, and then this is the name we give to our repo. If you give it to another different name, you're going to get a different name here. So you're the one who's going to choose that name there. So git clone is the command that we use to clone the repository from here to here. So the link you use is this one here. I hope we're together up to there. So as you can see, it's still empty right now here. So let's say now we want now to start working. So what do you want to start working? So we're just going to create a small boilerplate here for a small HTML boilerplate, and then push it to GitHub. Yeah. So I'll make another directory. So this directory, I'm just going to call it project1. Yeah, project1, and then cd into project1. So and then clear. Let me just clear. So as you can, if ls, it's still empty. So another thing after this, we are going to create now our readme. So in order to create a readme, so I'm used to using, so let me just open Visual Studio Code. So if you want to open Visual Studio Code, so I'm assuming you have already downloaded it. Just press code, and then just type code, and then full stop, and then enter. So just give it a minute. It doesn't take long. So just give it, let it come. Let me minimize this so you can see it's supposed to just open by itself. So that's why I'm telling you, using these commands is simpler compared to the graphical user interface, but then that's my opinion. So as you can see, so the repo is called project1, and the directory we have created is called project1. So that's why you can see it here. There's no file inside. So let's start creating our files. So our first file we want to create is a readme. So write readme.md, and then press enter. Then press enter. So now this is where you're supposed to write your readme. So this is our first repository. This is the first repository in GitHub. Only kidding. I have a lot of repository. So, but for you, it's going to be true. So, yeah, only kidding. Yeah, but for you, I hope that's the spelling. I'm not sure, so I'm not going to write a lot. So you can write, in case you're writing you're coding something about a function that deals with iterating on an array, maybe looking for a certain number, you can write all about that here in your readme, so that every person who comes to your GitHub will know what that project is all about. So that is the importance of the readme. So as you can see, hope you see the spelling. The readme is in caps, but then full stop, and then the MD is in small letters. Let me just say we are together up to there. So as you can see here, confirm something here. If I hover it here, it's telling me that this readme.md is untracked because we have not sent it to GitHub. We have it in our system. So in case my PC crashes here, I won't see this project. I won't see this readme. So I'm assuming we are together to there. So let me just create an index.html file. Index.html, just like that. So if you want to get the boilerplate, just write doc and then press enter. You'll get the whole boilerplate. So let's say project1. So maybe let's see series 1. Let me just call it, let me give it the title of Git and GitHub for Dummies. Yeah, Git and GitHub for Dummies. I think I'm giving the simplest explanation here. I'm not using any technical term here. So let me just give it a h1 of Hello members, ask any question. If you didn't understand, ask any question. Ask any question where you feel I was too fast or technical. Yeah, so let me open it with live server. This is just an extension. So for those, I'm assuming that you have a background in HTML, so I'm not going to talk anything about HTML here because we are not, this is not a web development session. So this is the H1 that I've written. So as you can see, our title here is Git and GitHub for Dummies. So we want to push this file to GitHub. So what we do, there are two ways you can do that. You can use the terminal for VS Code. In order to get this terminal, just say Ctrl J, and it's going to be here. For those who are using Windows, just use Ctrl J, and then you're going to get it here. So, but then for this case, I just want to use the Windows PowerShell. I just want to use the Windows PowerShell. So confirm something here. It's still untracked. It's saying untracked. So the untracked here. So let me say git add. So if I git add everything, so if you want, so using this asterisk here, using this full colon here, I'll just call it full colon or full stop. So using this full stop here is basically saying add everything. So git add, and then this full stop here basically tells Git to add everything that we have worked on, so that it can be now. Let's see. So as you can see, just look at here. So now it's added. We have added it. So it's saying now we are working on this. So before saying git add, it was untracked, but then now it has been added. But then it's still not in GitHub. It's still not in GitHub. You still have it here. I hope you're together to there. So now, and then give a commit. So the commit message basically says git commit. So git commit. So this one is just saying, so a commit. So this command, what it does is it says, so basically just giving a comment on what you have pushed to GitHub. Yeah, so like for example now, so you write git commit, and then this flag M here is for message, and then full call, and then this apostrophe. So you can use single or double quotes, it's still okay. So this is a test to confirm that everything is set up correctly. Yeah, so you can use double quotes or single quotes, it's still going to work. So and then press enter. So as you can see, so if I commit, the thing create more this. Yeah, so and then git push. So if you want to now to take your code and then now give it to GitHub, so you use git push, the git push command. So let it push it to GitHub, and then let me explain, and then just a minute. So yeah, so it has been pushed to GitHub. So it has been pushed to the branch called main branch. This is the main branch. Every time now, okay, if you say git branch, so git branch saying we only have one branch here. This is the main branch. So every time you start your project, or maybe you create a repository, you'll be working with this main branch. So now that's the scenario where you're working alone, or maybe you're doing the same thing. So in case you're doing different things, you'll need different branches. But then before I get to there, let us go to GitHub and confirm if our files are now there. So as you can see, it's still empty, but then let me refresh it. So as you can see, it's here. So this is our directory. So as I told you, so I created a directory here called project1, and then in the directory called project1, I created a readme. As you can see, it's here. I created an index.html file, it's here. And then so in the index.html file, you can see all we have is the boilerplate and then the title that we gave it, and then now our hello world. Yeah, and then the readme, as you can see, is it's only what we wrote. This is it. Yeah, so I believe you're together up to there. So now let me clear. So we have talked about cloning, how to create a repository, how to clone a repository, and then how to now create files, and then how to push. So now comes the fun part of Git. So let's say now you are working, you have a project that you are assigned, and you are working with that project 2 to 3 people. Yeah, so maybe you are 3 people, or maybe you are 4 people. So how can you be able to do that? So in a scenario like that, all of you can't be pushing to the main repo, because maybe now I'm person A, so maybe I push there and my code has an error. Person B also pushes there and he has an error, or maybe he has some implementations that if they okay on the same page with my code, then it's going to bring some complications. So how do we go with that? So what we do there is now we work with branches. So to create a branch, we use git checkout. We use checkout. Sorry, it's checkout. So git checkout, and then the branch name that we want to check out to. So in our case, let's say partner 1. Let's say partner 1. So we want to create a new branch called partner 1. As you can see, it's saying switch to a new branch, partner 1. So if I say git branch, so this git branch command is used to show all branches available. So if I say partner git branch now to list all branches available, we can see we only have 2 branches here, the main branch and then the partner 1 branch. But then currently now we're in partner 1. So we can create our files in partner 1 and then push it there. So let me do this. So let's say it's been added. So now for partner 1, so for partner 1, let me come here and say, so this time round, so this time round we are done with our small introduction, and we are discussing about branches. Yeah, so and then in the index.html file, let me just come here and create another heading too. Let's see, I am from the partner 1 branch. Let me also add just a paragraph. So use me to confirm that branches actually work. Yeah, that's it. So if we go to our live server, we'll see all that. So this is the second heading, and then this is this last heading, and then this one here. So let me come here. So now we have done all that. So as you can see, they are still untracked right now. So now we have modified it. Yeah, so we have modified it. So we have modified both of our files. So in a certain scenario, if you are not working with Git, you wouldn't have this option that says we have modified in our file. You could just send it there, so you don't know what was there before and what has been added. Yeah, so Git tells you all of that. It tells you previously you had this code, and then now you have added this code. So in case maybe of an error, you can say, oh, okay, I implemented this one, and then I got this. So this error is because of this, and then if you remove it, you'll be on the safe side. So let us git add. So git add, let me add everything. So git commit, and then a flag of message, I am from this. Let me say this commit is for partner 1. Is for partner 1. Yeah, and then let me say git push. So just give it a minute. So it has been pushed, but then as you can see, it has been pushed to partner 1, the branch partner 1. So let us go to GitHub again and let's go to confirm something. So let me refresh. So let me refresh, and then let me just go back a bit. Yeah, just a minute. So just again, go again. So as you can see here, it's saying now partner 1 has pushed something here. So now as you can see, if I go to this branch here, now I don't have one branch, I have 2 branches. So the main branch, and then now this is the default branch, and then now the branch that we have created just right now called partner 1. Hope you're together up to there. So there are 2 things here you can do. You can use the graphical interface to compare and pull requests, or you can use the terminal. So if you want to compare and pull requests, you can just here come, you just press the compare and pull request. So this commit is for partner 1. So I added, and then just give your description. Okay, so you're given your title, so give your description of also. So I added a H2 heading and a paragraph. Yeah, but then if you're working with a big project, it won't be this down. So please, this is just an example. So and then compare and pull request. So let it load. You can see it's loading here. So as you can see, so checking for, so as you can see, so every time you push before merging the files, so GitHub will look to the codes, and then confirm. If after merging them together something bad will happen, so something bad is maybe there's going to be a conflict or something like that, an error, things like that. So in our case here, you can see all checks have passed, which means there's no complications. So after that, you just merge, pull request, and then say this has been confirmed. Confirm. Yeah, and then confirm merge. So as you can see, it's saying merged. So it's saying method 1 newly merge one commit into main from partner 1, because this is my repository. Yeah. So now let's get back here. So as you can see now, if I come to this branch here, so instead of 1 branch, now I have 2 branches, but then I don't see that option of saying merge files, compare and merge files, because I've already merged them. So in case you wanted to merge them using the terminal here, yeah, in case you wanted to do that, you'll have to check out from the branch you are in, and then now merge. So you can only merge if you're in the main branch. So git checkout, so git, let's say git branch, and then git checkout. Now we want to go into the main branch, so main, like that. So now, as you can see, so if I say git branch, as you can see, now I'm on the main branch. So in case I wanted now to merge, I could have said git merge. So as you can see, I can't merge because everything has already been merged. But then in case I had something to merge, then it could be merged here. So control else, so clear. So I think that's enough for an introduction on how to use Git and GitHub for beginners. In case you need me to go in depth on how to do this, then just let me know and then I'll do that. So one last thing, so let me git log. So this is git log. So git log just gives you the last commit that you have pushed. So the last thing that I've done here, so I know everybody was following up, so the last thing that I did here was just write this comment about the margin. So git log tells me about that. So in case now I wanted to revert a certain thing I did, or maybe a certain push, then I can use this here, let me say this key here, and then I can revert that. But then I won't go into details about that, because I think we've already talked about what we were supposed to do here. So an introduction, we have talked about an introduction to GitHub, how to use Git to track your files, how to push them to GitHub, how to clone a repository, and then finally how to create branches and then match them. Yeah, so I think that's all from me for this video. If you liked it, just share it, and hope we'll see each other on the corporate side. Thank you and see you next time.